Well, hey, YouTube. Hey, X. How is everybody doing? Jackson, are you excited? We're having our Friday afternoon live stream. He's got his toy and he's going to chew it up, which is good. Good boy, Jackson. Just chew up your toy and not anything else. All right, guys. How's everyone doing today? Let's see what's going on, or it's through going on now. I'm seeing here that the VIX was down today. That's good news. That is good news, just 2%. We'll look at the VIX first VIX indicator. I have market, whatever it's called, fast money. I have fast money on in the background. But option action comes on next here in a little bit. I like option action. Before YouTube, it was the only place to learn on TV about options. All right, so let's see what we're doing. Jackson, what do you want? What's going on? Do you want me to get you some food? Here, come up here and say hi to everybody. Come on. You got a treat? Who wants a treat? Come here. It's right here. It's right here. Jackson, come here. Come here. Let me see you. Come here. Let me get him some food. I'm sorry. I should have done it before I did the show. Jackson, what are you doing? All right. My bad on that. All right. Let's get going. Well, speaking of the VIX first VIX indicator, it's the first one that came up, and it's still fairly bearish. The most bearish condition is both lines sloping down, so both moving averages red. The ratio itself under the moving average, it closed right on the lower moving average. But also that it's even what would make it even more bearish is if the short period death crossed under the long-term moving average, like what happened back in the last time that happened was February 28th. And you guys remember what happened in March and April. So that hasn't happened yet, and hopefully it won't. But we're definitely still in the caution zone. Now the SPY took back this trend line I'm watching. That's awesome. That is awesome. Great job, SPY. Remember, the bearish case or the neutral case this morning was they would get stuck down here in range. The bullish case was that they would take back the trend line. Or what they really want to take back is this quadruple top right here at 672. They got close, but not quite. And of course, the bearish outcome we don't even want to think about. I don't want to think about. I didn't even look at my statement yesterday because I didn't want to know how much I was down. But today I looked at it and I was up 0.2 of a point. But I think I finally did look at it last night and I was down 1.5% or 1.7 or something. It was ugly yesterday. Who knows? And it may be ugly again Monday. So far in the time frame I follow, the trend is definitely still bearish in this time frame. 30-minute bars following the 50 and 200 period moving average. The momentum is definitely bearish. All right, so that's the cues. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin really helped us. It stabilized a little before the market did, in the same way that it started dropping prior to the market dropping. Let's go back here and look at this. Bitcoin's been the canary in the coal mine for a while now. I mean, I was worried when it was at 110 and the market was still at all-time highs. Or, then it sold off to 106 and it rallied to 110, 111 and then sold off again. But this thing, it started moving down before the market did. Now the market's moving down again. So I bet you this starts moving up before the market. It has, at least compared to the market, on the time frame I follow, at least this thing's taken back its moving average. It's over both moving averages, and the shorter term moving average is green. So, I mean, who knows? But it's a good sign. Remember, the neutral case on this from this morning was it gets stuck in a range between 102 and 99 or whatever. That would have been neutral, but it's the bullish case happened for sure. So, but on Thursday, the same thing happened, or I'm sorry, on Wednesday, the same thing happened. who the heck is this guy? They're interviewing some guy on Fast Money, and he's wearing like a tracksuit or some kind of orange, like, I think his name is Dan. He's from Wedbush some. I've seen him before. I think his name is Dan something from like Wedbush or Webbush or something. I don't know what that means, securities, but oh my gosh, you're on CNBC, dude. Put on a coat and tie, or at least put on a polo shirt or something. He looks kind of funny. I bet you guys have CNBC. It looks real funny. Anyway, all right. Well, enough with the charts. Okay, so I have all kinds of good stuff to show you today, and then you guys can ask me anything. Well, let's see. I'm having AI build something, but I had AI build my new position report. We'll look at that and say, oh, there we go. Let's download this and see what's going on here. All right, I made a little change in the positions. I should have done it yesterday, but I wasn't brave enough. But I've been wanting to buy the dip in something. I've been thinking ULTI or whatever. I've been thinking a lot of them. I think a lot and I do very little, unfortunately. But today I spent 5% more of my cash, so I still have 15 dry powder, which makes me nervous in the downtrend we're in. But anyway, if I wait for confirmation, the market will be back at all-time highs. So I had to decide what to get. And let me show you guys the graph and see if you guys can spot what I got. Well, AI was supposed to do the graph the other way, but whatever. Oh yeah, now Alti's even a bigger position than cash. Well, anyway, but like I say, Alti's coming down to 15% one way or another. But I need to wait for a rally. So if we get a couple more days melt up, maybe I'll take it down to 15 at that point to make it even with blocks. But anyway, so we have Alti at 18 going to 15. We have blocks at 15 or 14.26 staying there. We have YQQQ at 12 going to 10, but I'm just going to let the market take it to 10. I want the market to keep going up, and it'll be 10 eventually. I guess if the market keeps going down, I'll just leave it. But that one's 12, but with the target of 10. But then I have K-yield. So I doubled my position in K-yield. I think I had 6 or 7%. Anyway, I threw an extra 5% on top of it. Just took 5% out of the cash balance, threw it into K-yield. And I'll show you why in a second. I'm really happy with that. But I thought about buying BITK. I really did. I really don't think that the Bitcoin winner's here yet, crypto winner, whatever. And I really believe in what Matthew's doing with this stock, but anyway, I'm more of a stock guy, and I decided to get K-yield. So anyway, and I still have 15% left. I can maybe buy the dip in some of these other ones. I'm planning on adding some WPay. That's actually the next one I need to add is WPay. So, but in any event, so there's all my allocations. So now let's look at. Let me show you the reason. Well, it's not the reason I had a K-yield, but it's one of the reasons. Where is this? All right. Well, so what I did here, and I showed this to you guys this morning. I was having a technical problem, but all I did is real simple. We talked about yesterday. We have the dates running down here. We started on October 31st. Which I hope I don't look back in and think that's an all-time, that's as good as it got for the covered call business. But man, they brought out there's two funds that came out that's just like ULTY, which is already super controversial and super whatever. And then the companies brought out two more funds, ULTI and in one day in K-yield that are also in the same vein. But I like it. I hope we don't look back at it. But anyway, so what I decided to do is we start everything from the 31st, and let's just line them up and measure them against each other so we can follow it on a day-by-day basis, kind of like I do with the lightning spread. And the lightning spread's been doing well. We'll look at that in a second. QLDY's been doing pretty well. And QLDY's on this chart also. But so anyway, we're following Alt-I, K-yield, WPay, all my favorites. In QLDY, I like that one. LFGY, like that one a lot. A GPTY, I like that one a lot. Chippy, I like that one a lot. And then also SPY and Qs for comparison. I probably need to add YMAX in there, but I'm trying to get the ones that are the diversified ones, and especially the ones where they switch stocks in and out actively. But I don't think that's the only way to do it. I think WPay and YMAX have a decent plan too, where they just give you a portfolio of these stocks with either swaps in WPay's case, total return swaps, or covered call spreads in YMAX's case. So I'll probably put YMAX on. But so what this generates, it generates this chart, or actually, let's do this chart. All right, it generates this chart. So this is the daily return. So we can't look at Friday. I guess I could have. I should have started it on Thursday, then looked at the Friday returns. But anyway, I started on Friday. So this is Monday. So between Friday and Monday, I guess I do need to move it back one day, but I'll do that. I'll do that this weekend. Anyway, so this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 1 day returns, and I'm not real happy with this. It's kind of hard to read, but on the left side, my favorite one is ULTY, that. So I put it all the way to the left just so it's easy for me to see at a glance. And then my second favorite one is Block, so it's right next to it. And then we have ULTI, which I also like a lot, and KYLD. Those are kind of the main hedge fundy type ones there. The first four are kind of the stars of the show. So you could see on Monday, it was all about blocks, and the other ones were down. I mean, but then we had WPay up a little bit, QLDY, LFGY. These are like the cast of supporting characters, but they're good ones too, I think. Anyway, but then on Tuesday, Alti was down 3.07, but it's one of those days it protected capital better than the other high-flying ones. Blocks was down 6.8. Alti was down 6.4. K yield was down 5. WPay was even down 3.78. So we talked about that day in Discord. I was talking to somebody in Discord about that because anyway, but yeah, but then on the good side, we had QLDY only down 2.3. LFGY down 3.8, Chippy, whatever. And okay. But then you can look SPY. And the other thing is you can look to the far right for the benchmark, just like my things always do. All my buffer reports have the benchmark on the far right or the parent. So you can see here this day, the SPY was, Qs were up a little bit. SPY was up just a tiny bit. Anyway, they were down here, but all the surrogates were down more than either of them. None of them protected capital as well as the SPY, although QLDY came close. Anyway, then we finally had a bounce back on this day. So that was nice. And the best performer result, killing it. Blocks did well also. Unfortunately, ULTY, true to form, didn't get a lot of upside. But WPay beat QLDY that day. Good day. Good job, WPay. I have both of them. I mean, WPay for the way up, ULTY for the way down. Anyway, then QLDY lagged behind a little bit. LFGY was up too. Good performance all the way around on that day. They were all up. All right. So then on Thursday, this was yesterday, and this was a washout. And you can see ULTY was down, but not nearly as much as blocks and ULTI, true to form, and not as much as WPay, and not as much as LFGY. It was down about the same amount as K yield. K yield matched ULTY's performance that day. And then the rest of them actually did a little better. Then here we have today. And this is delayed, but I don't remember when I copy and pasted this. This may not be the very last tick, but I think it was. But look, ULTY squeezed out a gain. Blocks was down, but only 1.4. That's nothing for blocks. Alt-I was down 0.82. Good job. K yield, of course. I mean, Howard, come on, Howard. He's so good. I mean, it's when I started looking at this, that's why I was thinking, why am I buying Alt-I with the dip? I can buy it if it dips further or whatever. I don't have a problem with Alt-I, but it has similar risk and reward to blocks, and blocks already keeps me up at night. So I thought I'll add K yield. And then but I might get Alt-I later. I don't have a problem with Alt-I, but in any event, but you can see here the Qs were down, SPY was up. Anyway, so then we can look at it on a total return basis, and this chart's a mess, but On a total return basis, I need to work on this, but SPY performed best for the week, and it was down a little bit. Qs were down 3%, but then after that was QLDY just right behind. I mean, that QLDY just sticks right with the Qs, and you can even see the blue line right here is them. They're right there, but this dark blue line over here, or this dark blue line over here is Alt-D. Let me highlight it. And you can see it, when the other ones dropped, it didn't drop as far, but then it didn't go up as far when the other ones bounced. You can see the other ones passed it. But then, of course, when they dropped again, it didn't drop as far. But anyway, it finished mid-pack. So anyway, then it goes, I'm going to have AI build a graphic where it had, this is just terrible, but anyway, I'm going to take this data and build a real chart that it's easier to deal with or whatever. And I did this also. Maybe it's better to do this on bars, on bar charts, 307. Yeah, this is a good way to look at it. Anyway, so for the week, you could see the Qs and SPY won. The ones that hung closest were QLDY and Chippy. And then the next little group was GPTY, LFGY, WPay, K yield, and Alt-D were all down about the same, 5 to 6%. And then, blocks and ULTI washed out for the week. All right. So that's that. I hope you guys like that. So now let's look over here at the lightning spread report itself. I mean, we probably don't have to go here every day from now on, because we already saw what the lightning spread's total return was versus the SPY. But this shows since inception of the lightning spread. I'm really interested in this strategy. So anyway, we're still a little bit behind. 2.4 to 1.9, but this looks pretty good to me so far. So we'll keep an eye on that. We shall keep an eye on that. So we also have new max factor numbers out, but we'll look at those in a second. We can talk about other stuff as well, but let me check in and see what you guys are doing and see what you guys want to talk about. 33 of you guys here. Thank you so much. All right. Dividend Degenerate. Susan's here. Thank you, Susan, for being here. Thank you, Dividend Degenerate. I was just running the latest. I was just running the latest version of the max factor in that IAUI that Susan told us about. It's really good. I have a new index called the Stability Index. And I can see why she likes that, but it's good. iGold does a little bit better, but they're both consistently, in the top 5% of safetiness. So Shane's here. Hey, Shane, how are you doing? We did it. We made it. We got Chad here from the great state of Texas. Bought the mess out of the dip. All right. You added your WPay this morning. Good time to do it. I wish I would have. I had to. I waited till the end of the day and it bounced, but that's fine. That's fine. But anyway, that was good. That's good. And I need to add to WPay also. It's the next on the list. For now, ULTI is on the back burner. And it's nothing against ULTI. It's just because I don't think I need ULTY and ULTI. Or I'm sorry, I don't think I need blocks and ULTI. But all three of them, let's just say. So, hey, Sauls, thank you for being here. You must have, what are you saying here? You might be getting one of those blocks. Oh, cool. Absolutely. Yeah. He'll send them to you. You just have to retweet and send him your address or something. He sends those out all the time. Yeah. Hit a like button. If you hit the like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. All right, so now that you guys are under control, there's nothing bad happening over there. Let's go over to stocktools.app and let's go to the Market Intelligence Center and let's kind of see how we finished out the week. This is a really cool piece of software, a web app, I guess you'd call it. And I have an affiliate code if anyone's interested, stocktools.app/max. I believe you get a free month, but even if you don't use my affiliate code, you get a free 2 weeks. And no credit card. So go try this out. Even if you don't want to use my affiliate code, that's fine. But stocktools.app, go try it out. This is a really nice piece of Piece of software. All right. Well, I'm just glad we bounced into the end of the day. I mean, I thought I saw the SPY finish the day up. This is saying down half a point. Anyway. It may have been post-market. I think I've seen post-market go by. But the big thing is Bitcoin being up 2.98. I just got that off the screen. Yeah, this is reset, I think, or something. But in any event, let's look at the heat map. I mean, it's energy, consumer staples, materials, consumer discretionary, and real estate are the best performing sectors. Worst, of course, was technology. In other words, momentum or whatever, but that's fine. Now let's go over here to this dividend calendar. Well, look at the dividend calendar too, but let's go to the income ETF analysis. Speaking of not dividend calendar, I was speaking of earnings calendars. So I was going to say, I saw that Circle has earnings next week. That could have implications for a lot of the stocks that we follow. That because that's in a lot of them. What's going on? Somebody just texted me. Let me make sure I'm not. Am I sharing? Oh God, I thought I wasn't sharing the screen. I hate when that happens, but I am sharing the screen. I just confirmed it. Okay, it's nothing. All right, so let's take a look and see which ones did best on the day and on the week, since it's the end of the week. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be having the Max Factor show, the top 20 show, just like I used to have. And Max Factor is really, I have some cool stuff going on with the Max Factor. It's really, really growing up. Seems like just yesterday it was born, and now it's getting way better. But I will have a Max Factor Friday night show also, I believe. And it's going to be Friday night Qs or NASDAQ Friday or something like that. High Tech Friday, Momentum Friday. Anyway, I'll probably have that on about 8, 7 or 8, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. I'll try to do it early. We had a good one last Friday night. I think that was the night the trolls took over, though, wasn't it? Was that last Friday? Last Sunday? Anyway, but we had a good episode. I remember last Friday. Could have been last Saturday. I think it was last Saturday because some of you guys were going to the club, I think. Anyway. All right. So let's look over here. Look at Dre. Wow. Interesting. So Dre actually almost beat the parent. That's amazing. RBLY almost beat the parent. And it's on these, these Yield Max stocks that, Look at Coney, just beat the parent like a drum. I mean, that's awesome. I don't know if they sold their options like 10% out of the money and the parent went up 2.8, but they weren't capped. Maybe if they just sold options on part of the portfolio, maybe they were just totally uncapped. But I mean, good job, Coney. That's impressive. Coney even beat COIW. I mean, that's impressive, although it was, basically a tie, but anyway, they're both two good companies or two good ETFs there. BITX. Wow. Looking good. You got to love that. Also beating the underlined. I like to see that. Carvani, man, Yomax is dominating on a daily basis. They have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 6, and they also have Palti down here and Hui. Wow. So in any event, BITX, Carvani did great today. Maxi also beat the parent. YETH didn't beat the parent, but is bound. Ethereum bounced, thank the Lord. Finally, Palti, look at Palti. I mean, beating the parent. That's impressive. All these Yield Max ones are beating the parent. What the heck are they doing over there? Did they anticipate the bounce and buy some extra calls to get some? It's almost looked like they're leveraged because they CONY beat COIW, which doesn't usually happen because of COIW's leverage. you know, and I thought that was a one-off, but then Pulte also beat the parent, not by a little bit, by a lot. And the covered call spreads alone don't allow them to beat the parent. They're still partially capped. Like I showed you the other day, if they manage early, they do get roughly the similar upside to stock. But whatever, these guys are doing a great job. I wonder if they bought some call spreads or something. That's incredible. Great job, Jay and Scott, if you're listening. I doubt they are. All right, so yeah, who we beat the parent. This one's awesome. This one that's Bitcoin and gold, and it's doing well. AIYY beat the parent. Also another yield max fund. Baggy is from Amplify, but it beat the parent. Misty from Yield Max beat the parent. Ybit beat the parent. YBTC beat the parent. Beto beat the parent. Biddy from Amplify also tied their underlying, tied the parent. BPI, what the heck's BPI? I used to know, but I don't remember anymore. BPI. Anyway, I guess we should look. I guess we pretty much have to look now that I showed that I don't know what it is. I mean, I know, but I forgot. BPI, I'm going to feel stupid as soon as I see what it is. Wow. Okay. I did hear about that a long time ago. Okay. So it's a Grayscale premium income. Wow. Okay. Another choice out there. I mean, there's so many right now between I like BITX just, for now, but even if I wasn't in that one, I would get in YBIT or YBTC or whatever. I mean, there's time I don't know if I'd get into a Grayscale one, but we'll have to see how it does. This needs to go on the max factor. I don't think it's in there yet. It's earning 12%. Gosh darn it. And it's November, December, April, May, June, July. It may be in there. I think I found it another time and put it in there, but this thing's, how much, I wonder what the AUM is on. The AUM is on this. Where is the AUM? There it is. Tiny AUM. Tiny AUM. Jackson, what are you doing? I'm going to let him out of here. Interesting, though. Grayscale's getting into the premium income fund. All right, so back here. Back to stocktools.app. Anyway, it was a good day, and you can see the ones that we just showed were the kind of the most impressive ones. Now let's go and look at a week. I mean, anything can happen on one day, but let's see on a 1 week basis if Yield Max dominates like they did today. But they were dominating that list today, and they don't usually. Usually on the 1 day list on an up day, it's usually Roundhill that dominates that list. So let's look on a 1 week basis and see who's dominating. It's taking a second to load. Thank you for your patience. I guess I come over here. Oh, yeah, there it is. I was going to come over there and talk to you guys for a little bit. All right. So on a 1 week basis, look at this. Of course, fiat's the number one. That's not a good sign. Oh gosh, fiat and winter number one, but that's, it is what it is. Well, and then this one Berkshire did a great job and beat the parent. Great job. Then we have dips also dips and crash and YQQQ. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys did great, but I don't like to see those are on the list. I'd rather those be at the bottom of the list. Here's some AZYY. Wow, from Bob this morning was asking about Granite shares. And this one's a new one from Granite shares. I talked to someone in Discord this week that picked up some of this. Anyway, good job, AZYY. XOMO. That, I did say on the the heat map, it looks like real estate's been hot. And look, this is a real estate based one. It has been hot. JP Morgan was up on the week, another real estate one, Renti from YieldMax. There's IAUI, the gold one I was just talking about a little bit ago, AMZ, GDXY, Will. Lots of good choices in there on the week. On the week. Anyway, tons of good choices. Okay, so what else do you guys have questions? You guys have anything you want to talk about? Oh, I got something. I just remind me. But right at the end of the day, I did this. I didn't tell anyone about it because I don't want anyone to follow me and lose money. But okay, first of all, let's look at this. And I also took one for the team. It's going to lose, but I did it on purpose. But I'm just getting tired of all these rips that happen right back to the perfect place to sell. And I didn't get any puts. I wish I would have got them, Wednesday night or Thursday night. Yeah. Last night or Tuesday night. Anytime it gets close to this in the downtrend, of course it's hindsight, but why didn't I get puts there? Why didn't I get puts on the close there? Or anyway, so I got puts today. So here's my thesis. I didn't get many of them, but here's my thesis. If it rolls over again, at least I'll feel smart or whatever. And if it doesn't, the model portfolio will be doing great. But what I'm thinking is, that if it doesn't take back the 50 period moving average, rolls over, I think it would make a new low. That's what the bears are going to try to do. So what I did is a new low 660. And I really think if they're going to try to target something else, the next stop would be 655. So I took a real conservative little put spread here. So I bought the 660, which is where I think that's going to go to. So I needed to go to 660 or lower. But then I sold the 665, so it wasn't too expensive. And I have the worst timing in the world. The market will go straight up. I did this so you guys can all make money. This is probably a loss. But here's also what I'm thinking. I don't have to hold till expiration. Here's Monday morning. Wonder if something happens over the weekend and it goes down Monday, and say it doesn't even get to 660. Well, it needs to get to 660 anyway, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. All right. How do I think QLDY performed yesterday and today? Well, let's go back and look at that really quick. I think overall I like it. The past 2 days, it's that's total return. On the past 2 days, it's been lagging a little. Well, actually on yesterday, it was down the same as the market. I'm fine with that. Because lots of down days is down a little bit more because lightning spreads add a little bit of downside risk. Although this day, October 10th or whatever, that we had a big washout, it wasn't down more than the market, but lots of days it is. So the blue's lightning spread, red's the market. So, but then today it was down more than the market, quite a bit more, almost twice as much. But I'm going to excuse it for today because it tied yesterday. I'd rather it be down twice as much today than twice as much yesterday and then win today. So I think overall, I'm looking for total return, risk-adjusted reward, stuff like that. And on a total return basis, blue is QLDY and red is lightning spread. It's hanging right with it. It's hanging pretty close. It was ahead for a while when we were rallying, a few weeks ago, and then as the market sold off, it's fallen behind a little bit. But total return since inception, Qs are up 2.5, lightning spreads up 2. I think that's pretty good. I really need something else to compare. I should put a third fund on there and put a non-lightning spread fund that's managed by the same company. So I could put triple QY on there. That's the 30% target fund that everyone hates, but from Defiance. But that's a real covered call fund. And that fund will do way better on the downside than this one, but it also should do way worse on the upside. Maybe I need to add that comparison, add in a conventional covered call fund, or maybe I add in triple QI, something that everyone does like and recognizes it has a lot of stability. That might be a good project this weekend to put in to put in maybe a couple of other covered call funds to really, I'm trying to really get behind the mechanics of the lightning spread. It fascinates me that it can win on an up day, and it can even beat the market on up days. So, but still though, I mean, there's also down days, and you have to look at the total return. But yeah, I think maybe I will add triple QI, because that's one everyone likes and knows, and then we can see how the lightning spread's doing compared to one that's recognized as being a really good fund. Now this thing pays twice a week, and it's paying, last time I checked, 35 or 40% yield. So, if you can match the market or even get close to it and pay a 35 or 40% yield, I mean, we'll see. But so far, I've really liked this lightning spread QLDY. I've really liked it, but we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, it'd been paid 40. I hadn't checked it in a while, and I was just kind of guesstimating. Let me catch up with these quotes. All right, okay, might be getting the blocks hat. That's where we left off. Mark saying he was happy for the bounce too. Yeah. You just have to hide the statement from her, but she probably knows where to find it, and I'm just joking. But yeah, I hear you. It's no fun. Yeah, I hope no one got a margin call. I bet you that people did the other day, yesterday, and maybe even Tuesday. Anyway, hopefully none of us, or if it was one, hopefully it's one that you planned for and you're able to take care of it or whatever. Hey, how are you doing there, Bon? Thank you for saying hey to me. All right. GDW's declaration is a bit low, really, or GLDW. Okay, well, that's gold. Heck, didn't that just start like a week ago or something? Or no, somebody told me yesterday that it was going to pay the declaration. That's what it was. But it's probably been around for at least a week. Anyway, I wonder how the return's been. Now that I'm an expert at making these graphs with the multiple funds, I should probably do one with all the gold funds lined up, K Gold, all of them. But anyway, you have to carry. Wow. Okay. Wow. I have Coney that made back 100% ROI not long ago. Yeah. Coney is, Coney made Coney's free money for a lot of folks, right? I mean, I think I've got my cost basis down to $2 on ULTY. But my average is 797, and I have 4 something in dividends. But I'm not planning on getting free money from that. If it happens, it happens. But that's not why I have it. But anyway, it's yeah, good for you. Hey, SB, how are you doing there? Okay, SB, I was watching something on YouTube today, and somebody else recorded the entire concert in 4K from the Sphere, the one that you were at, or maybe not the one. They probably have 2 shows a night, but something from last weekend, or at least 1 show a night, but they're probably playing all week long. Anyway, and I sat there and watched the intro, and the intro was awesome with all, and then Hotel California came in. I put it in favorites to watch later, but I can't wait to watch that whole show. But SB gave us a preview, live last Friday night or last Saturday night from Vegas. Yeah, that was awesome. That looked like a great show. Okay. Portfolio's up 3,300. Well, that's, yeah, it was a tough week, but nice bounce here. Nice bounce. Yeah, SB is he's his own high yield fund. He does high yield strategies. I mean, but yeah, he's his own high yield fund. And so are a lot of people. So is Mark. Mark does covered calls, but does it himself. And by and large, a lot of you guys do. All right. Let's see here. So I've already talked about QLDY. I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, and it's been paying 40%. And, one market was up 2.5. QLDY was up 2. So it's 0.5%. It's on a percentage basis. It's, it is underperforming. But I think when you could factor in the 40%, I think it's within the realm of possibility or of it's giving me hope. Yeah, K-Yield did well today. Exactly. K-Yield did very well today. Hey, Retire, thanks for being here. Yeah, it was a good week. I hope you weathered everything all right. I hope your Roddy account didn't have a margin call, but if it did, I hope you were able to handle it and or let something go. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a position, but in any event, hopefully that didn't happen to you or any of you guys for that matter. So GDXW paid 2.5 times higher than GLDW. Well, I don't know much about gold or gold miners, but the way I understand it is the gold miners are like leveraged gold. They have higher IV and they move up and down more. So I wouldn't really surprise me. It maybe surprised me that it pays that much higher, but it really wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Mark's been selling puts. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, perfect. Okay. You're still selling premium and doing a good job. A lot of these funds sell puts. So, I mean, it's not, I was wrong about the covered calls, but Roddy survived. Okay. Well, I'm glad Roddy survived. All right. So check this out, guys. I have something really cool to show you now too. And we'll talk about this more tonight. You can't get a margin call because your cores are too heavy. Now, sweet. That's good. That's really good. That's the whole idea. Let's see. Froggy has a hard time selling out of stuff it sucks. And that's why that's a good reason not to use margin, because guess when you get margin calls when things are down. And not only that, is maybe you don't think you're going to get one. You don't think a stock's going to drop as far as it's going to, but then you get a text message and it's from Robinhood and they've they've doubled the margin requirement. And so they basically blew you out of your position. I mean, and they do that too. And they never double the margin when things are good. They double it when the market's pulling back. It's kind of Murphy's Law. All right, I have one more thing to kind of tease about tonight, but if there's no more questions, then I'll let you guys get on with your weekend. But I'm making major improvements to the max factor. I have a new index called the Quandex, and it was inspired by Jonathan. Jonathan's Ambassador Quan's been helping me a lot. And we're going to look into it tonight. But the Quandex is really cool. Let's look at the top. Let me show you but I'm going to talk in detail about it tonight. But Jonathan is just a wealth of ideas and has a lot of whatever. So I don't have a graphic, but the Quandex is in column R. Have to be out a year to be in the Quandex. But it's probably going to turn into the 1 year max to the long-term max factor. I think I will. It's a better formula than I was using for the long-term max factor, but it still measures risk-adjusted reward and it measures all the good stuff. It just does it in a different way. So Palti's number one. And the cool thing about the Quandex is the number actually means something. That number over there, 52%, represents the after-tax return. So it factors in because, one problem with these funds, and Jonathan pointed out to me, remember when you get dividends, it's taxed at your normal tax rate. But anyway, so I've allowed for tax liability. And so these are the ones that are just after-tax growers. They always talk about being a grower, not a shower. Well, these are growers and showers. I mean, for sure. We have GDXY, Snowy, SLVO. This is the new long-term max factor. I've been having problems with the long-term max factor, and I had an idea to fix it, but this is the long-term. So anyway, this will be on the whole thing will be on the top 20 show tomorrow. But Jonathan, I wanted to give him a shout out, and he's been emailing me back and forth, and he's had all kinds of good advice for me. So anyway, Clip, Bobo, it's the usual suspects. Look at KQQQ, but it's approximately 14% after taxes, total return. So now it makes a few assumptions. Some people don't have the same taxes, but I make a conservative assumption. I assume that you're in the highest tax bracket, and I don't assume any rock. So the thing is, because I don't want people being overly optimistic. Now, to the extent that some of these funds pay rock, your actual tax liability might be less. But anyway, I'm really happy with that. And so we have big improvements coming. But I also I've retitled my index to one of my indexes, the sustainability index. So let's go see what's at the top of that. But this is based on quarter. It's a shorter term thing, but it's GUI, TSLP, GOOP, TS2, iGold, Snowy, AMDW. These are the ones that are giving you yield with almost no sacrifice, and that's why I'm calling this sustainability. But so anyway, all right, well, guys. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Unless there's any questions. Yeah. So, did you like that joke, Jonathan? I hope Jonathan's. I didn't run it by him and didn't ask him if he was all right with me calling it the Quandex. But I thought about, I didn't want to totally copy Jonathan. Jonathan gave me a name for it, and it's a real professional sounding name. But anyway, I like fun stuff. So, but basically what it is, it's the after tax return, after tax liability. So, and where the funds that's really going to hurt, say a fund got 1% NAV return and paid 200% yield or something. Well, they're paying taxes on the yield at their normal tax rate, and they don't pay anything on the NAV return because it carries over until retirement, or eventually they may have to. So, but once you factor it in for taxes, I think that's an important way to look, a better way to look at the long-term metrics. And basically that's going to turn into the long-term max factor, but it's also called the Quandex. But I really appreciate it. Let's go for 7 o'clock, 7 or 8. So that's going to be 8 or 9 Eastern, but I'll try to make it at 8 Eastern so you guys can still hit the club afterwards. All right. Yeah. You guys give Jonathan, go give him a like and a follow. If it wasn't for him, I'd still be messing with an inferior max factor, but Jonathan stepped in and gave me some consulting, and the max account. I don't even want to talk about it, Rod. The model portfolio was up 13% about a month ago. And I thought, okay, I finally got this thing going right. And then Bitcoin started pulling back. And then I was only up 7%. And then I was like, man, this market's going down. So then I cut a bunch of my winners. I sold some Alti, sold all my GPTY, all my GDXY, and I was like 30% in cash. And I was right. And I did it about on the last day of October. And since then the market's pulled back, and I've been buying the dip and spending the cash. Now I'm down to only 14% cash, and I have some new positions, and I bought the dip. So I still like Alti. I mean, I had it grown to 30% of the portfolio, or 28%. So now it's like 18%. I sold about a third of it, and I'm happy. It looks like I sold it at the perfect time. Anyway, guys, all right, it should be the MaxDex. Absolutely. It could be the Max. Well, the MaxDex is the short-term one. The short-term one is more of a trading one, and it's more fits my personality, but the Quandex is perfect. Basically, MaxDex is short-term, Quandex is long-term, but it's a joint effort, Jonathan. I appreciate your help. Heck yeah, Max Dex Energy, Big Dex Energy. It's Big Dex Energy, and it's growing and it's showing, and you got to love it, right, guys? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for being here. Be back at 8 o'clock tonight, and we'll follow up on this. I'll have graphics and stuff, and we'll follow up on it, and I'll explain more. If you guys have any questions, we can talk about it. But yeah, it's going to be Qs tonight. NASDAQ Friday night. All right. Friday night lights, Friday night NASDAQ lights. I don't know. I need to work on my branding. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll talk to you later. See ya.